Jane, how are you?
Hi, Lucy. I'm very well, thank you.
I mean, this is profound. This crown, like I've seen crowns, but this is like, did you just suddenly run off with Prince William? What's going on?
Um, he's coming, but not yet. Not
Not
yet.
Prince William, your actual king, right? Your
Yeah.
actual king. We're going to get to all that magic. You can hear my little baby girl in the background. Hello, sweetheart. But what's cool is that Michelle is actually a mum of three.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that she said yes to herself to do this deep work has deeply impacted her children as well as obviously herself. And just saying to the universe, I matter and it's time that I'm a priority is so, so powerful. Just in that decision of saying yes to you, what did that feel like in that moment when you could have easily said no?
Oh, it was into my heart. Best described as a rush of a tsunami of emotions. Yeah, when I did decide, it was exhilaration. It was there was fear, there was doubt, which was old story. There was all the emotions, but it was yes, I've finally chosen myself, and it felt right. It was
Mm.
just a burning gut desire that this is right. This is where I need to be.
Yes, so I didn't even get to introduce you because I was just straight into it. But
Yeah.
Michelle is from Australia, as I said, mum of three. How old are you, Michelle?
I'm 39.
39. That's a wicked time to meet your soulmate. So let's really go back to, I know it was an amazing, like, hell's yes, right? What was that thing that had you take action? Like, what wasn't working? Where were you at? Just share with us. If you need to close your eyes and connect back in with that version of Michelle, if you had to describe yourself, go back to that place, let the tears roll if they come up. But why did you need to take this leap of faith and this action?
Um, yeah, going back's really quite difficult. Um, Even now, I'm getting a bit wobbly.
Yeah, that's fine. It's called letting the vulnerability come through.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's
so far.
probably yeah, that's probably the utmost thing that has been so overwhelming is I've actually tapped into my feelings.
Mm.
I had been married for quite some time. I've been separated, divorced for quite some time, and I was getting to the point where I was so numb. It was just
Mm.
a sense of emotion. I had it in abundance of for my three kids. My life is my kids, but I got to the point where it's like, where's my fun? Where I'm doing all the do for the kids, filling up all their, buckets running here, there. But at the end of the day, the door would close and the kids would be asleep and I would be sitting on my own and, frustrated, empty,
Yes.
lonely. It was really like spiraling. And I'm like, if I've tried everything in the past and it was like I was on this vicious wheel, but it's like, no, I need some guidance. I know I've got love in me. I know I want to feel, but it's that numbness, that stuckness where I totally was just, I was sitting idle and really, really in a place where I thought if I don't take action, this is just going to progress into my 40s and I'm just not going to have that opportunity to really feel nurtured and loved in the way that every human being should.
Wow. I'm getting so many different things here. For those of you, obviously, you didn't see Michelle at the beginning, except for the queens that went through Soul to Soul with her. I kept pulling Michelle up because she came in with this massive smile, even though underneath was a lot of heartbreak and pain and not enoughness. And even just as you saw, like, she was like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. Like, that's not how Michelle came in. Like, you would just see a smile. Even if she was upset, she'd still smile because that was the cover that a lot of women come with. I enrolled a beautiful woman yesterday and she was smiling as she was getting into the depths of what was wrong. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I knew it was her cover, but I was like, can you see that your emotions are just not available? She was like, well, I'm just terrified if I think about allowing those to come up.
That's
what
it.
might happen?
And it's pretending. It's not being authentic. I was putting on a show for everyone, but for my true inner self, I was really broken, really quite sad and lonely.
The other thing I want to speak to is, God, there was just a couple of things that came up and now I've gone, I've lost my thread. One sec. Well, it was very much when you said you'd done a lot of work. Let's just start with that. What had you done? Because I know a lot of women watching this feel the same, like they're doing listening to podcasts, doing meditations. What had you done before you got to this juncture where you're like, I need to actually do something really big?
I got onto a lot of meditation just on YouTube, and then I was listening a lot to Abraham Hicks, which is Esther Hicks, very motivational.
Yeah.
And this is where I was really raw, and I used to listen to her, and that was great. That was, I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I know all this, but it's still that I need that mentorship. I need to be in a really loving, nurturing space where I can be supported, because I can talk the talk, but I'm not walking the walk. And that's when Soul to Soul was a huge game changer. It was that nurturing, that support, and it was like catching me out too. It was making me really accountable for, know what, Michelle, now let's go deeper. And where I used to be like, if you're listening to a podcast, you can just turn off and walk away and just go, done.
Yeah, done. You don't have listening to I love podcasts, right? And I'm about to be on a bunch of them for my book coming out. I think they are awesome. It's like brain food, soul food, like soak it up. Amazing, because we really are the sum of what we listen to, the words we speak, people we hang out with. So listening to high vibrational, discussions, like awesome. I'm not saying don't do that, except that, like you said, no one's holding you accountable. You're not being taken through a process. You're connecting for a couple of moments when you're listening, but chances are you are doing something else. And so it hasn't got your undivided attention, where after you do the podcast, you literally straight away go and take action. That is rare. There are a small percentage of people that do. But truly, like at the end of the day, there's just nothing holding you accountable. And that process part is where like you came into this process. And, I was quite tough on you at parts of the program because, in the Q&As each week, bless, but you were like, you had some reasons and excuses as to why you weren't showing up fully. And I was like, Michelle Barry, what is going on? Enough. Like, I know out of the whole group, you have the 3 kids, like you are amazing. However, I know you didn't come here to just get through this program. And it's also not the space that I hold, as you know. It's about cracking the whip and you stepping into your brilliance, making it a non-negotiable. And you did take that on. You realize sometimes it just takes a couple of those moments, right? This is not the first person who's been called out of my program with love, but it was like, come on, Michelle, you can do better than that. You're better than that. And she's like, yeah, I am. And then she just had to hit that moment where she could see those excuses and that kind of justification. And then she was just like, fuck, like, I didn't come here for that. So what was that? Describe to us, like, what was feeling like the beginning of Soul to Soul, you were in there, and then when you sort of had that turning point where you suddenly just grabbed this torch of light and ran with it.
Yeah, it was probably the first moment that you've always say, have a date night. And I think I avoided that like the plague, because I was actually worried about, oh my goodness, how would that be when the kids weren't around? And I did. And that was my turning point. I dressed up, I put my makeup on, I was at home, cooked a dinner. I bragged to my dad's, like, I sent a picture to mum and dad, and they're like, what have you got? And I said, a hot date. And they said, with who? I'm like, myself. And dad said the next day, how was your date? And I said, best date ever. I was really just found myself and dance like no one was watching. And I just took the time to really invest in myself. I'd always been giving away or trying to, do somersaults or impress people so much. But I think the turning point was I took stock of, this is me, I'm enough, and I'm just going to love myself like nothing else. Because if I project that, big things.
Big things. And I mean, I want to be clear as well, girls, like, knock yourself out. I want you all, you can take away from this chat with Michelle, go and take yourself on a date, even at home in COVID. Like, make yourself the most beautiful dinner, use the best silverware. If you don't have some, order it, like, make it decadent for yourself. However, I do also want to say, you might be thinking, oh, if that's all it took, I can do that. But leading up to that moment, Michelle had been, shedding away these layers. And that happened to be her turning point, where suddenly going through the deep modules, because we don't discuss them, but they do go really deep. That just happened to be her moment where I feel like everything landed for you. And you suddenly started to embody this work at a deep level, having already cleared a lot of space energetically.
Oh, 100%. I really went deep, and I found out so much of my younger years that I needed to get up that I couldn't have done on my own. I dug up, it brought up to the surface, and it was raw. There was, one part that I was like, oh my God, I feel like I've just been hit by a steam train.
Yep.
But I needed to hit that deep seated within
Yes.
me, and that's what Soul to Soul brings. It's what's in yourself.
Yes.
That I couldn't find anywhere else.
Well, because it's not about just, this is my issue with talk therapy. I mean, I'd rather you girls did that than nothing. I'd rather, we've got to have outlets, but my big issue with a lot of the world that are doing talk therapy, and I even get therapists come and do this program, psychologists, and, that's the irony, is they're like, well, they're very cerebral, they're doing the stuff by the book that you're meant to be doing with great intentions, but it's not about going back to the past and living in the past and talking about the same stuff. It's about being able to bring it up very intentionally and purposefully, and then moving through it and transmuting it and turning that poison into medicine.
Definitely.
That is what actually, progressing from your past self, that lower self, that little girl, into the queen self, which you absolutely are right now, and embodying that woman and the feminine and the enoughness and the being and the I am energy.
Yeah.
And that's the transmutation that happens, where you're able to then feel the depths of your soul and your feminine power, and then your self-expression, and just that power with that isn't defined because of what you do, but it's because of who you are.
Oh, definitely. It's I call it, we had an Australian program called Married at First Sight, and this woman had feels, and it's feeling in. And I think I used to, not really think about that word so much as an important way of being with yourself, but feeling that emotion is everything. It's your heartbeat. If you don't have your feels, you're empty. And I think that's where I was, so empty, numb previous, and now, I feel a world of emotion, and you can't buy that.
You can't. What does that feel like? You're not the only one walking the planet. Well, not now, but then, a matter of 8 weeks ago, that you were really numb, you were checked out, and you were kind of like, is this it?
Yeah.
39 is still, you're in your best years right now. And there'll be a man, this is the thing, girls, I want you to see whether you've got children or not. That doesn't define you, a mother of 3, whether she's a mother of 6. If you've got the right mindset and the right relationship with yourself, you can attract in a king who'll be like, thank God, ready-made family, yes, please. Or you'll have his children and go, yeah, great, let's make it the Brady Bunch. Let's do 5 children. I've seen that happen very successfully. But, if you don't actually stay in the world of possibility and reaching for that dream, no matter what's happened to you, you could have easily gone, well, who's going to want me now? And I'm not good at relationships, so I'll just be mum. That's selling out.
Yeah, totally.
Look at you. You're beautiful, but beauty is irrelevant if you're not going to be shining the light from within.
Yeah. Oh, 100% agree, Lacey. Yeah.
So how do you feel right now in Michelle? How do you feel about her having done this for yourself? What does it feel like to be you now as the mother of these 3 beautiful children during this pandemic? I know there's a lot of things that shifted, including the relationship with your ex that used to be pretty fractured.
Very.
A nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Talk to us now about where you are with all of the things that have changed.
Yeah. I am just so light. So I feel so limitless. I feel so soft and so feminine. Just not in myself as a mother. I think I was getting onto that but now I feel doing Soul to Soul, this has opened just my heart space up more to really just be so gentle and more nurturing to them, and how they take on the world, and just their approach. I feel that I used to feel like I was walking on eggshells or holding my breath a lot. Really, anxiety is like, oh my God. And I'd feel like if I was going to jump into a situation, I would be like strapping in. But now I just kind of flow. It's kind of like the flowing of water. I just go with it. You know, sometimes things don't work out and I'm just like, gave it a try.
Yeah.
In regards to my ex, it wasn't nice. And it was also being in Soul to Soul that has opened myself to be authentic and say, well, what's that impact just not only on myself and each other as parents, but also my children?
Yeah.
What impact, huge impact am I showing? I'm like, I'm being authentic in every other area. We just, I need to be authentic with him too, because he was my stumbling block. He was my red flag.
Yeah.
And through this, we have our differences, we always will, but my heart is so full of just being authentic and loving and giving, and not having that taken advantage. Like, I have a stance, but I'm just, you know what, COVID has been crappy for everyone, but this has come at the most profound time. I mean, I was really feeling like this has just shown me that when I was running from the world, I was running from myself. And Soul to Soul has really shown you can go here, there, you can go to India, see a beautiful God, but it's you go within yourself.
100%. I just, out of being in the conversation of being authentic, my daughter woke up many times last night, so that's why I'm yawning. I'm not bored by this conversation.
Oh no, you're right.
I'm like, how do I hide yawn? But I'm like, we're talking about authenticity.
You don't hide anything.
What I heard in the early conversation was your worldview was kind of like, I'll take care of the kids. I'm a mum, like that's what my mission is, and this is kind of it. Now your worldview is, oh no, I get to have my dream and I get to create whatever I want for myself. I get to consciously choose how I interact with my ex. That relationship has improved even since during Soul to Soul in a big way.
Yeah, huge. Like, we're amicable. We weren't amicable. It was 3 years of just, and even the kids have noticed, like, oh wow, Mum, Father's Day, I let them choose a gift for them, and like, oh, and he sent a message, thank you, that's so kind of you. And that's great. It's just like, okay, thanks. But where I used to be like, oh, I just kind of move on. Like, yeah, I say thank you now and I move on. I'm not hung up on before the old story.
Toxic relationships are toxic on the body, and children that are a part of that dynamic inherit those, the bad relationship that you would have had and kept having with him. But now that you're kind of like, oh no, I'm cool with that, then they have permission to love dad as much as they love mum and whatever it is for them. And that's healthy, so that they're being set up to be brilliant adults in the world instead of carrying the shit from their parents.
Exactly. And probably one more thing that I have noticed with the kids is my 3 kids don't see me as just mum, which they did forever and a day. I'm also Michelle. I'm also, a work colleague, a sister. I'm also my own self person. And I think before Soul to Soul, that was my hat. That was my hat, my parent hat. And that's all they saw me. It's like, no, I'm actually having some Michelle time. You need to go and have a play. And they're like, oh, okay. And that is a big game changer for especially with single mums, because we do and forget ourselves. It's like, no, I stop now. It's like, this is my time now. And they used to, oh, Mum, but what about us? I'm like, yeah, I love you, but Mum needs some time.
And because I love you, I'm going to show you what it looks like to love yourself. Because if you're not loving yourself, then they're not getting that message hardwired into their cells. They're seeing that mum's an overgiver, that mum's not good at receiving, mum doesn't know how to treat herself like a priority. So the fact, even though at the time they might react, they're loving it. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, my mum has got a really healthy relationship with herself, instead of you being tired, worn out, crabby mum.
Yeah.
And living with resentment.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely profound. How do you feel now about your future, having done Soul to Soul? How do you feel about attracting in your soulmate and just what you want out of your life?
I just feel like like I'm like a 16-year-old kid again. I'm like really like just internally buzzing. My light is beaming, it's switched on. I'm focused. I know exactly, the lane I want to stay in, and who I want to bring in. So this certainty that I've got now, the
Mm.
joyous, like, I'm thinking when I'm old with my soulmate, and just fun adventures, and just living love, light, and happiness, pure, just raw basics, but really just channeling in, my dream of living together. I just, in my imagination with my kids, it's, we're all intertwined, and I just, exhilaration beyond words.
I can feel it, and I know those of you watching this can feel it. The thing is, you said it's raw basics, really living with love and light. It's not. That's everything. People are saying love and light, they're not being it. And when you're actually being the light and being love, like embodied,
Yeah.
then, filling, like you can literally, when you keep filling yourself up and you're overflowing from your own medicine, that is when, without trying, you're inspiring people. You're having them feel the impact, and they're just like, oh my God, I want what she has, or I want to hang around you. You're rubbing off on me in a really good way.
Yeah.
I'm now sort of realizing that I can have what I want. That's just by you shining your light. So of course your kids are benefiting in a massive way, seeing mum happy. There are boundaries, and there's now a self-respect going on that they will be inheriting from this moment on.
100%. Yeah. Self-respect, without a doubt. Yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. And that's what I say to girls is, this is not a one-stop shop. This is not 8 weeks and you're done. This is 8 weeks and you're just beginning, actually, the rest of your life. And it's an ongoing, sacred contract and commitment to yourself to continue to implement these tools and to show up every day. It's not like there is no program or language you could learn in 8 weeks. No. And just go, sweet, I'm done now. Like, that is the trap in self-development, where I even speak to coaches. They're like, yeah, I've done all the work. And I will never, ever, ever say that I've done all the work, because I haven't. I keep doing the work. Even though I'm loving my life, I'm like, great, I want to keep getting stretched. I want to keep working and transmuting and healing those parts of myself, so I can just keep expanding my light. And that's evolution. I don't ever want to say, hey, I'm good now.
Yeah.
Then you start to stagnate and start to get really comfortable.
Oh, exactly.
And the best things happen when we feel alive and like we're leaping out of our comfort zone and we're trying things.
So it's pushing to that edge. It's really just like, I have been one of those stop starts and playing safe. It's like, no. And with one of my calls, I was like, you say, I've been, single for 3 years. And it's like, I was stopped. It's like, no, once you finish Soul to Soul, that's counting your first day of being single, because you are rebirthed. You are a new Michelle. You're not the old Michelle. And I was like, I didn't think of that. And I was like, that doesn't feel so heavy on my heart. Like, that old story of, it's been 3 years, what's wrong with you? It's like, no, this is my first day. This is my new, and I get to rewrite now. I get to write my own journey.
Absolutely, because you girls, it's confronting, but your life is the sum of the choices you've made up until this moment. And it is a combination of, the decisions that you haven't made. And it's not to make you feel bad, but it's to empower you to say, how do you want the next 10 years to look? And what decisions are you making right now, today? Nothing wrong with today. It's just as good as any other day in the year to go, I want to start a new path. I want to get on the trajectory of my dreams. I'm sick of being the person that has the dreams on the back burner and is one day when. No, it's now. We're in 2020. We're coming to the end of 2020. How do you want 2021 to look? Because the other thing I'm going to add is what we're seeing globally now with the natural disasters. I believe our future is really, really bright. However, I've also, through reading a lot recently, know that that's just the beginning as well. There is going to be a lot more of that. I wish this was just it for the year and we're done. But it's not. It's about adapting to the new normal, where there are obstacles and there are roller coaster trajectory to go, who am I going to be for myself, so I'm not reacting every 5 seconds, so I can actually stay grounded and focusing on your dream, no matter what is going on around you, focusing on what you want and expecting to get it.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, well said, Lucy. Well said.
Thank
Yeah.
you. What would you say to these precious women that are really loving your energy? They're
Yeah.
just kind of like something's really hitting them in the heart and the soul right now, just from your beautiful, that softness you were talking about. It's right here energy. Like you are present in this conversation. You are right here. I can feel it. They can feel you. When you
Yeah.
first came in, even though you're beautiful and had such a kindness from you, I loved you at hello, but it was all very protected. And now, like you are right here, you are available, you are present.
Yes.
And so that softness is that beautiful like intimacy that you have with yourself, where like your chakras are open and you're actually just able to be vulnerable and present. What would you say to these women that really want that? They want to feel that certainty. They want to feel like they get the happy ending. And I don't mean $5 happy ending.
Yeah. No. That'd be nice. No. I would say in life, as I found, it's all a choice. And this is your opportunity now. Put a stake in the ground for yourself. Choose you, because your heart, your soul is waiting for this total, this isn't by chance.
Mm.
And, you need to grab it with two arms and go, you know what? Life will be life on my choice, and this is your opportunity. This is your olive leaf branch. Grab it, because if I didn't, I can't even think. Like it was just that stuck. But I took that chance, and oh my God, like seriously, I was upset in the tummy for like a day, going, oh my God. But that was because I'd finally chosen me. Your life, this isn't just about finding your man. This is beyond words. You will. This is a life. It's a life choice. All my words are bottling up, so I can't really
You're doing great.
express. Just this is your time now to shine, beautiful queen. And why not? Just why not
Yeah.
say it yourself? Because it's only you that's stopping you, nothing else.
Yeah.
And it is worth it in abundance. Yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, you just nailed it. You weren't bottling up at all. It's so true. I mean, if Michelle can do it in
Yeah.
Australia on the Australian dollar
Yeah.
with 3 children
Yeah.
as a single mum,
Yeah.
you girls can do
Oh,
it.
and there were doubts. I was like, oh no, I could put it here, I could put it there. No, I'll hold it because it's safe. It's like, no, I'm opening up. I'm letting opportunities. And this was the first thing. I saw a testimonial on Facebook. I don't know how, and I just went bang, had the call, signed up, and
Wow.
that was never me. I would always be like, do my research. I was like, I don't need to, because this felt so much resonance, and I was like, I'm
Mm.
going with my heart this time. And
That
yeah.
is so cool, because what you're saying is that you didn't go into the overthinking brain, the rational brain. You know, it's never coincidence, goals. When the link on Facebook, some people that join Soul to Soul are barely even on Facebook. They're just like, it just happened to catch my attention and it spoke to me. And then I watched the masterclass and I was like, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I still take my hat off to those of you that follow through on that, because we're so like, there's so much coming at us as consumers that you can get really lost. So the fact that you did just follow through on that one testimonial, like that, something about that felt really good.
Yeah.
That means now you're living with your heart space, because when you can live from just going, let me follow that through. That felt good. Oh, that felt good. That felt good. That's living a life on purpose versus let me sit down and do the pros and cons list and let me ask 5 friends. Like that's just exhausting.
Yeah, that whole checklist. And you're always like, oh, the pros and cons. But now I've learned, if I keep on saying yes to something,
Mm.
yes, then it's a no-brainer. Like
Yeah.
it's a yes.
When
Just
it feels good, it's a yes. And that's
definitely.
what we say. Look, that's what we say as well. And just take the leap to book a call, because if we're not
Yeah.
feeling that you're ready, there is no way that we're going to invite you in. We're not going to do that. This is not a numbers game, as you know, in the vortex. This is about, we know when you're ready. We know who we can help. We know who we can't help. We're very, very clear on that. And so, yeah, just don't underestimate that the universe is listening to your inner thoughts of, I need support. I want to meet someone. And then suddenly, right, because with artificial intelligence, like we can't think things without freaking
Yeah.
Facebook hearing us. So
I know, I'm hardly on it. So it was just, and it was the analogy I always have, sitting on a picket fence. I have been sitting on that picket fence and my butt, it was getting like quite uncomfortable. I had to go either way and I chose Soul to Soul, and wowee, what a gift. What a phenomenal, life-changing gift.
I am so proud of you. When you say you chose Soul to Soul, you chose you that day.
Yeah.
And Soul to Soul happened to be the vehicle that was put in front of you. And instead of brushing it aside, you were just like, well, let me just try something actually that feels really high vibrational. So super, super proud of you, acknowledging you. This crown is something else. I have crown envy. Or let me get I've got my own crown up here. Let's have a look. There we go. There we go.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I love that crown. It's just so beautiful. Where did you get it?
Thank you.
Where did you get it? Online?
I got it from a little, dollar shop in my local town. I put the kids in the car. I said, I'm on a mission. I'm getting something. What are you getting? I said, you're staying in the car. It's for me. So I went in. Well, can I wear it? I'm like, no, it's my crown.
So, this is the thing where I'm sitting here, it looks like you got it shipped out at some vintage piece from Paris.
No.
Right? The way that you're wearing it, it does look so beautiful. So listen, keep that smile. That's a real smile with real joy. And keep being, that superstar in your family, because your children need you to be the best version of you, Michelle.
Thank you. And blessings to you, Lucy. And Queens, when you're watching, choose you. You'll do it.
Can they reach out to you?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Don't bombard her because she's busy having dates with herself. And I tell you, I saw her in the video. I wanted to be part of it. I was like, whoa, this stuff. Such a good body, and you got this beautiful dress. You are rocking it.
Oh, wonderful.
Coming on and sharing your beautiful, beautiful journey.
No worries. Sending great love.
Oh.
All right. Bye.